Hi, Kaiser Phoenix here. This is the blog for the last week of October, I believe the 21st through, let's just say, the 30th. And the main topic of discussion today would be the fact that the Cardinals won the World Series. Woo! Now, why is this a big deal? Well, for one thing, St. Louis loves the Cardinals, so the fact that they won makes everybody happy. But from the perspective of someone who doesn't necessarily care about baseball, let's put it this way. Nobody expected the Cardinals to even get in the playoffs. I think at one point they were like 10 games back from even getting in, and somehow, some way, through skill and luck and circumstance, they actually got in. And people were like, oh, okay, they got in, they're going to lose to the best team in the league, right? And then they beat the best team in the league, or at least the one with the best record. And then they went on to just win it all. Considering the fact that no one expected them to even get in the playoffs, that's kind of amazing. Now Tony La Russa, the guy who's the coach, has decided to quit on a high note, which is a smart idea, or at least retire for now. Who knows if he'll come back. And he's riding off into the sunset. Now Albert Pujols, who's the Cardinals' big player, though he wasn't a big player in the final series, they're not really sure if he's going to be back or not. I think it would be an incredible heel wrestling move if he won the series and then left. Would be hilarious, and people would hate him. It'd be like LeBron James of baseball all over again. But oh well. In personal news, I got a haircut. Woo. I haven't gotten a haircut since like before summer, and I was desperately needing one. It does feel good to not have all that all over the place. Though my hair still seems to be rebelling a bit. Just kind of shooting up all over the place. Oh well. Now, to follow up to last week's main story about the people in Zanesville, Ohio, and the animals getting out, I had heard that Mrs. Thompson, or Miss Thompson, or whatever you want to call her, wanted the animals back as they were her custody. Well, they were her things, basically. According to law in Ohio, they were her property. So she went to the zoo with this trailer truck to pick up her 6 animals and was basically denied by the Ohio Department of Agriculture, who executed a quarantine order and said, no, they're staying here, basically. She is already lawyered up, and she was already lawyered up when she showed up at the zoo, and I'm sure she will be appealing that, but I am very glad to see the state of Ohio going, no, we're going to take a look at these things and make sure that, maybe they shouldn't be with you. I'm sure there will be a court battle, and it would be great if the state of Ohio just denied her to no end. That's just my personal thought on the subject. In other random animal news, SeaWorld is actually going to be sued by Peta, the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, over the amendment to the Constitution, I don't remember if it's Bill of Rights or Constitution, whatever. Amendment 13, which would be the amendment on slavery, which freed African Americans from slavery during World War II. I am totally screwing this up. During the Civil War. Now you might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with anything? And if you would guess killer whales being slaves, you would be correct. That is where PETA is going with this one, which is an interesting case, and that's about all I can say about it. PETA usually comes up with interesting cases or news stories or whatever. I think I remember one time where they were like, we should all drink human milk, and I was like, I get your point, PETA, but that's really weird to say, and people will think you're crazy. Will this case even go to court? Will it fly? Is there an actual case that cetaceans and dolphins and other things should be treated the same way humans are treated? That is a whole can of worms that I don't think anybody wants to open. And of course, if cetaceans have the same rights as humans, does that mean dogs have the same rights as humans? Does that mean chickens have the same rights as humans? I don't think PETA would mind such a blanket statement, because PETA is all about, as far as I know, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, don't eat animals, or don't keep animals as pets, people for ethical treatment of animals. So we'll see. It would be interesting. Obviously, this comes on the heels of the whole Tillicum situation, and I believe he is one of the plaintiffs. Is that the name of it? The people that are Yeah, I guess he would be a plaintiff. Several of the whales are the plaintiffs, though not all of them, which is kind of, I don't understand law, but I figured if you're gonna have one whale, if you're gonna have one whale be the plaintiff in this case, you might as well pick them all in captivity. But I am not the PETA people trying to figure this out. Work lesson of the week, in my mind, has to do with one of my jobs over the other, and it's basically sometimes there's workplace drama that doesn't necessarily need to happen, and it's just best to stay out of it sometimes. Some person might be complaining about a current situation at work, and I think they were complaining about what someone's attitude towards them, and they were underneath them. And I sort of wanted to know what they were complaining about, but I really didn't care, because it didn't affect me, and it wouldn't matter 2 days from now, and it's just not worth getting all agitated about, you know? I mean, I like my job. I like my station in life right now, and I don't necessarily need any of the drama to interfere with that. I like going to work. I like doing the work. It may not pay me an extraordinary amount, but I like what's going on, and it's good to just relax and enjoy it as it happens. I feel like some people have difficulty with that, but you shouldn't. Keep that in mind. Other things that are going on this week, well, I record this on Halloween, and which means November is right around the corner, and the end of the year is right around the corner. And I said to myself that I would be doing something with my book, Pawns of Concilia, by the end of the year, and that would be to send out, oh God, what are they called? Query letters. Letters of intent. Basically, they're the literary letters of intent. Query letters to agents by the end of this year. And I only have 2 more months' time, so I need to sort of ramp it up and get some stuff done, which I think will fit in nicely with work slowing down. It'll give me time to work on that. It's called Pawns of Concilia. It is a fantasy series. Pawns would be the first book in the series, and I've been working on it for almost 2 years now. That is crazy. But I enjoy the process, and I think it gets better with every day I work on it, and hopefully literary agents will think the same, so we'll see what happens, and I'm sure I will update on the situation, but that's pretty much going to be it for this week. If you have any comments on any of the animal situations, go ahead and leave them in the comment box below. I will see you guys in November.